Click record. Ladies and gents, I want to give you a warm welcome to our second Wednesday on September 2nd, TLA prep, and our second weekly call before our first Saturday TLA prep that is coming up this upcoming Saturday on September 5th. So I'm excited to be able to kick things off for you today, and we're going to dive right into it so we can get into some of the meat today. I got some exciting stuff to share with y'all. We're going to have our first kind of fishbowl scenario role play session here as well. So we'll go ahead and kick things off here today. And I am currently coming back off of the grid here. The last time I spoke to pretty much any of you all was this time last week on our first call too. So this past week was good for me to do a little bit of rejuvenation. Got a chance to see spend a little bit of time with my family, who I haven't seen in a little bit, up in Jupiter, Florida, and also got a chance to kind of get down and do some planning on really the experience that we want to have for our TLA class this upcoming fall, and getting ahead here on some planning for 2021. So I'll have some hot updates and some things like that to share with some of you all pretty soon. And then for some of you guys that I get some one-on-one calls, I'll be reaching out either today or next week to maybe touch base one-on-one, since we didn't grab a call this past week. Our fall cruising fall contest is in full swing at this point in time. So you guys know it's up for grabs. We have whether that's a yacht day, a Bimini trip, whatever the payoff ends up being, $8K in sales over 9 weeks is all that it takes. We could change this contest to, by the way, called the "Hey, everybody in TLA goes on a boat day" contest. The reality is most people that are on this call should be hitting this contest. And I think it's also exciting for new representatives that want to get a chance to kind of get with this group. But the main thing is, guys, you got 9 weeks to sell $8,000, and all of your PRs count for credit. A lot of you all are in staff roles, so you're already planning on getting 2, 3, or 4 PRs with your roles. So let's just make sure we're executing with this over the next couple of weeks. Don't delay. If you're just building up the right habits and being consistent with your results, it will be fairly easy for you guys to accomplish this, and this should be a pretty fun one to do as we go into the fall. And many of you guys know our first TLA prep is coming up this Saturday. So we've been really talking about this all year long, and this will really be your first taste. I think we have today's call and last week's call, and you're getting a little bit of taste. Last week we talked about situational leadership. This week we're going to talk about the decision train. But this upcoming Saturday is really going to be one of the first Saturdays where you're able to experience, I think, some of the growth that you're going to have throughout this upcoming fall. And most of you all, unless you've already been through TLA, you have an idea of what to expect, because we talked about it all summer. Hey, we're going to teach you how to help impact your time, manage your money, manage your energy, manage other people, and most importantly, manage yourself. I'm excited to, I'll reveal today on today's call a little bit of the topics that we'll be going over on this upcoming Saturday. Before I actually dive into that, I do want to say to keep the hot updates coming. We talked about it last week, but I've been getting a lot of Vector Train moments. I'm going to start posting some of these up into our group chat, but I'd like you guys to go ahead and post up in the group chat as well. I've had a couple of different people message me as they're starting their classes for the fall. I've got a couple of different messages of, hey, I just got started. I'm a freshman taking my first business class, or hey, I'm a senior doing our mandatory business oral communications class, and they're having a conversation on how to public speak on platforms like Zoom. And they're the ones in their class that are actually showing and demonstrating and telling people what to do, because they've been doing it all summer long. So it's really, really exciting. I'm going to continue to see some of these Vector Train moments. But Vector Train moment, guys, that and anytime that it looks like where it's like, boom, you're being taught something, you're in a social situation, you're able to take what we're talking about in TLA and actually apply it to a situation in your life. That's a Vector Train moment. When you guys have those, whether sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big, sometimes it's focused around school, sometimes it's family, whatever, you guys are going to continue to have Vector Train moments, I think, throughout the rest of the year, and hopefully for a long period of time. When you guys have those moments, I want to hear them post. Those are the new hot updates, if you will, inside of our Florida Coast divisional group chat. So keep those hot updates coming, the things that you're learning when you take things like situational leadership, decision train, CVI, which we're going over this next upcoming weekend, when you're doing things like using your weekly power hour or using your planner, I want to hear about those things, and your district managers want to hear about them too. So we talked about this year being the year before the big year. And like I kind of mentioned last week, in every single sports team, history, legacy, like anyone that's ever been national champions, anyone that's ever done anything very, very significant. I think about even when people went to the moon. There was the year they went to the moon, and then there was a year before the year, right? And that is when a lot of the juice happens. That's when a lot of the challenge happens. That's when a lot of the adversity happens. That's when a lot of talent recognition starts to happen. That's when there's a lot of hope, right? And you can begin to see tastes of what the future could be like, but it's not really clear quite yet. And for me, this is the year before the big year. For me, as a division manager, this is the year that we lay the foundation for what Florida Coast will become in 2021 and beyond. And I think this year has already got some exciting things in the works, and you all being a part of this class are really the biggest part of that too. So some quick calendar reminders. Nothing has changed, although there is one date here in red. So again, just one more reminder, if you don't have these dates down your calendar yet, I would get them down. There is one change on here. So if you look on October 24th, there was originally the third prep of the year was on October 17th. So we pushed down that one back 1 week. I had to make some adjustments to our calendar dates for that one. So our third prep will no longer be on October 17th. It'll be on October 24th. Gives you guys a little bit extra wiggle time anyways into the school year, which I like. Everything else is pretty much the same events for the rest of the fall. And here's also another photo that I would kind of take. Again, if you guys know how to take photos on your laptop, by the way, if you're on a Mac, Command-Shift-4, you can just take a little screenshot of the photo there if you want to get it while I'm on a slide. Or really, there's different combinations of Command-Shifts, so learn some technology things there. But I would also take a photo of this. So our first prep is coming up this Saturday, and we have a second prep on the 26th. The third prep won't be until closer to the end of October. So there's about, again, 4 preps that happen throughout the fall, 2 of which are in September, just to kind of kick us off while school's a little bit lighter. As you guys get busier with school, we try to kind of lower a little bit of the workload there when it comes to midterm and exam season. So our first prep is this Saturday. And then the SLC push starts on the 17th. So this is the only national push that we have of the entire year. This is the only time where sales representatives and district offices actually compete with every single other representative in every single office, not just in the region, but across the entire country. So really, really easy opportunity, I think, to make statements. And again, the push is going to be different for all of you all. So every single person, no matter who you are in TLA, you should have a one-on-one with your manager sometime between now and Wednesday and the 16th. So really next week is the week where you want to sit down with your manager to reach out to them to do an SLC PC. And again, that might mean some of you guys are used to pushing 20. When you sit down and do a push PC, it means you're getting ready to rock and roll and do 20 grand in sales. So you have to reframe your perspective on this a little bit. Some of you all that are used to going really big during the summer, SLC push is not going to be that for you this year. You're taking 15 credit hours, and it's going to be, hey, how do I have a 2,500 or $3 grand push around school? Some of you all are taking all online classes, and they're very easy, and you don't have a big adjustment, and you're only taking 8 to 10 credit hours, and your push should be hey, how do I have a 5 to 10 grand push or more around school? Some of you guys aren't even in classes. I would be thinking, how do I make a summer-like push, summer-like income during this SLC? So it's different for every person, but regardless of who you are, and the crazier schedule, the more important it is to get a sit down one-on-one with your manager. So that way you're not feeling overpressured or overwhelmed when the SLC actually push starts. And again, you have some sort of game plan. Failing to have a plan is planning to fail. So just make sure that you guys are meeting with your manager sometime in the next, either before this Saturday is kind of like a freebie bonus, or sometime next week to get your SLC kind of push planned, and that way you can nail the transition, which we talked about the past couple weeks. So it's a little sneak peek here on what's coming for the Saturday. The agenda will probably be distributed to you all on tomorrow, but you will have the agenda. Just a friendly reminder before I go out over the actual topics. The first event is this Saturday, and it's going to be 10 a.m. to 11:30 NLG session. 12 to 4 p.m. TLA. Previously promoted, it was 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. TLA, so slight adjustment there by 30 minutes. I'd rather get you all out earlier than later, though, so that's why we made a little bit of that adjustment. And NOG, we just didn't need that whole amount of time. So NOG, it's still 10 a.m. start time. Everybody else, it's a 12 o'clock start time, and it's a 4-hour session on Saturday. That's our first TLA prep from 12 to 4 on Saturday too. So again, if you needed to get out of anything or if you have any conflicts, those should have been sent to me now 2 weeks ahead of time. But if you do have any conflicts, please reach out to me, myself, or your respective district manager, and they will give you some direction from there. Here's what you guys can expect. So as far as time, money, energy, people, and self, here's a little sneak peek about what we're going to be covering this upcoming Saturday. So one of the biggest things we'll be going over is keys to running a successful business. And this is one of those things that I think for our future district and branch managers, it's going to be helpful to really get an inside scoop, an inside look at how our business operates, what is the day-to-day functions and operations. And this is something that I think is going to be really, really interesting for this year's TLA class, because to be honest, in previous years, it like a lot of times you got to see what the district manager or what your branch manager was doing because you were in the office. So even if you were doing something else, you can kind of just watch them and see what they're doing. Here, though, if you're in the virtual world, if you're not on a call with them, you don't know what they're doing, you know? So like you might talk to your manager and then they go off into the abyss and you have no idea what they do for the rest of the day. So I realize that a lot of you all that have kind of grown up and started the summer in a virtual environment, you don't necessarily know how much and what all goes into the kind of behind the scenes. So I think starting off our first prep by giving you, number one, a deeper understanding of that. And number two, also the ins and outs of how do you run a business? Because guess what? Every single business is the exact same. There are differences, there are nuances, but the makeup of a successful business, and this is why, by the way, when you learn how to run the successful knife business, all of a sudden now you are a better lawyer when you want to open up your own practice, or a better doctor when you want to open up your own business, or a better whatever entrepreneur you want to be when you open up your own organization. There are certain things that are different, but there are 100% things that are contingent across all successful businesses, as well as the things that make them go and the things that make them slow down and crumble or fail. So I think giving you guys a good perspective on that. We're going to talk about our CVI and core value index. I know some people have already got a taste of it. If you're on my staff or Mike's staff, you've already been kind of learning a little bit of this, but you guys are going to get a chance to hear from Mike on our CVI, kind of how to use it, what it is, how it helps you develop more self-awareness, and also how it helps you to coach others and help others and meet them where they're at. We're going to talk about Money Honey. So a lot of you all don't know, this is going to be a special treat for you all on Saturday, but I'm going to be introducing you guys a specially curated program that's been designed for our division called Money Honey. Rachel Richards is actually a former Cutco and Vector alumni. She's retired before the age of 30, and she's very, very successful at what she does. She really helps coach young millennials on the right perspective and money management habits. There's a lot of people in the financial and money space that I could bring to you all that I know could provide a lot of value, but I'm super excited to give you guys the opportunity to kind of partner up and work with Rachel. We'll talk a little bit more about this on Saturday, just because she's someone that understands our business. She's been a former Vector Cutco alum. She's also working with millennials. Like I just think a lot of times there is a big divide with the way that, you know, you all have grown up versus people, 10 or 15 years above you have grown up. So being able to work with someone that's a little bit more relatable, that understands where you're at financially, that can help you forecast for the future, that went to college during similar times, I think can be helpful. And then finally, I will be giving you guys some goods on executive level planning. An executive level planning workshop. So we talked a little bit about how to use your schedule. We're going to talk about things like the 4 quadrants and other executive planning techniques to help you guys master your schedules. And this will hopefully give you all a foundation so you have better management skill set and ability to help guide you through the rest of the fall too. So again, 12 to 4 TLA. Now, what I will say before I go into our just kind of our topic for today, we have our NLG session that morning. So NLG stands for Next Level Group. This is from 10 to 11:30 a.m. This is an open invitation. And it's an invitation, not an obligation. You know, so if you have zero desire to be a leader or be in a position of leadership next summer or be a Cutco manager, then there's no point in you being at that meeting on Saturday morning. So just show up at 12 o'clock. But if you have an inkling, if you have a desire, if you have a letter of intent in, if you're thinking about submitting a letter of intent, you should be at this meeting. This meeting is like, okay, from 12 to 4, this is the, hey, here's skill set that if you don't ever do anything, you never advance in your leadership role within Cutco. I know what we're teaching in our TLA sessions is going to help you and definitely in the long term, you know, and if you run a Cutco office, the stuff is also really going to help you, you know, but the NLG session is like, hey, here's how you become a kick-ass branch manager. Here is how you effectively really do a good job at leadership and management inside of Cutco. Here's how you run a great district organization. You know, that's what we're teaching in those workshops and in those meetings. So, you know, usually for the first 2 on September 5th and September 26th, I'll open it up to anybody that would like to come. Now, by the way, if you're actually in NLG meeting, this is your second year going through, or if you already have a letter of intent, then I fully expect you to be there. You're already part of that NLG group. For everybody else, again, it's an open invitation, and this is a good way of kind of differentiating yourself from the people that are serious and the people that are hungry and want to kind of earn those spots. It just shows me like who are serious, like branch manager candidates really are, usually in these workshops, and I kind of allow this to separate people in and of itself. So these are the first 2 I'll kind of leave open to anybody. After the first 2, I usually start kind of limiting it to just people that have letters of intent in, and people that we've kind of deemed more as serious candidates going into it too. So I highly recommend if you're on edge, just go, show up unless you have something going on and like check it out. That way you can kind of get a little bit of a inside scoop. We're gonna be doing a little bit of a debrief. So branches from this past summer, make sure and assistant managers, make sure y'all are ready and have some notes ready prepared from this past summer to do some debrief and group sourcing on what went well as, you know, exactly what kind of scenarios and what we want the future of our NLG calls and growth to be. So that's a really good example of being in with the right group and getting in with the right circles of influence. And as you all know, officially after September 5th, I'll have the first official TLA prep. So, you know, our first official TLA GPA or matrix score will be released a couple days after this Saturday. So again, there's 5 different things that go into your TLA GPA. If you guys look up, a lot of you all submitted withholdings additions during TLA tour. So if you go to your Vector Connect right now, more likely than not, I doubt they've showed up yet. They should show up by this next upcoming commission run. So probably not by tomorrow, but Cutco and Vector is processing those checks like as we speak right now. So more than likely it won't be on your statement tomorrow, but that's why I'm waiting a couple days to release the official first matrix score. So it has your updated numbers and totals, and those are all updated in your accounts there too. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. And then to come after Saturday, if you're an NLG, you'll be required to do this assignment, which is the BVOY scorecard and fall 2020 Edge plan. And I'll give you guys a little bit more direction on that here in just a little bit. So as far as our TLA lesson goes for today, we want to take a quick review and debrief. I'd actually be curious, before I even continue, last week we started touching on the kind of first levels of situational leadership. I'd love to see if maybe there's 1 or 2 light bulbs or takeaways or people that have kind of put this into practice, whether that is in a self-awareness aspect of kind of like knowing where you're at and where you're feeling, or anyone that's taken this and kind of moved forward, or been coaching reps and you know how to coach other people too. Any guy has light bulbs or takeaways in the past week since we've taught situational leadership? You can just either raise your hand or raise your electronic blue hand. Yeah, Sebastian?
Yeah, so one thing that you said last week and you said this week that really stuck with me was going in without a plan is really having a plan to fail. And that really stuck with me. Not only that, but every minute planned is an hour gained. So yeah, that's one of the big things that really stuck with me so far.
Oh yeah, I love that. And it's not quite on the topic that I'm talking about, but I love that you're getting that value as well and taking it away. Anyone else or any quick thoughts and light bulbs on situational leadership? And really, last week is our first time introducing it, so there's not too many. We can move on because we're going to revisit this topic a little bit later. Anyone else want to chime in?
I think in the Tampa office, with all of us kind of like transitioning into new roles, it's definitely been in my mind, like trying to find like the direction. Like I'm like really excited to start into a new role, but kind of like figuring out like where do I get the data from? How do I like figure out how to like systemize things? So that's definitely shown up for myself.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Rochelle. And and we'll continue to go into this. I think this is something that we'll be talking about a little bit more. What I want to talk about a little bit today is the decision train. And some of you guys have already heard of this. I think it's been referenced in a couple of times in different talks this summer. But I really want to, and this might seem like a small concept to you, but it has large implications. And I'll just tell you guys right now, most of the smaller the topic, the larger usually the implications are. Think about that for a second. Like the smaller it seems, like the less profound it is, usually the bigger of a deal and bigger of an impact it has. You know, something like use a planner. Wow, so profound. You know, but there's probably a big difference between the people and the results, you know? And again, anytime that you guys are hearing stuff, it's like questions that you ask, right? Is this, do I know this? Okay, if I already know this, the next question is, am I doing this, right? Third question is, could I teach this? You know, so some of you might already know this, but like ask yourself like, hey, do I actually evaluate, is this the way I process and make decisions? So let's talk about it for a quick second. This is called the decision train, right? And I'm going to give you guys the quick tidbit. If you want a longer version of this, I have an entire podcast on it. So I'll send it to our group chat here a little bit later. But the decision train basically talks about the process of which people make decisions. And guys, in life, the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of questions that you ask and the quality of decisions that you make. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of the questions that you ask and the quality of the decisions that you make. You know, so when people go through tough times, you know, yes, there is the whole element of luck and chance in the world, but most of the times it's okay, cool, that person performed better because they made better decisions. That person's a better athlete because they made better decisions. They made more decisions to work out, to train harder, to eat healthier. Sure, there might be some natural talent involved, but usually they're better because they made better decisions. So if you guys can start to improve the quality of your decisions, the quality of your life oftentimes changes. So the decision train, really what it talks about is that it's this moving train, right? And a train, if you didn't know, it can go in both directions. You can fire it up in the back and it can go this way. It can actually just turn right around and go the other direction. You know, it doesn't always go in a loop. Sometimes you can just put it in front or in reverse. And here's how most people in life end up treating this, okay? Most people lead with their feelings. So this is the front of the train and this is the caboose. Most people lead with their feelings. So they have a certain feeling, and that feeling determines what actions they want to make or what actions they take, and that determines ultimately the decision that they made, right? So it's like, I'll give you an example. It's like, oh, you know, I'm feeling really excited. I'm motivated. I want to go hit the gym. It's January 1st, New Year's resolution. So I'm going to work out really, really hard, you know, and that's the decision that I make because I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling excited, right? And then, you know, 2 weeks later, like, you know, snooze the alarm. I feel like shit. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't really feel like working out. So, you know what? I could probably just hit it hard tomorrow. Maybe I'll do Saturday as an extra day this week, you know? And so without you really making a decision, your feelings kind of just lead you into a decision. You know, it's like, hey, this is the way I'm feeling. So these are the actions that I'm going to take because this is how I feel right now. So this is the decision that I end up with, right? That's what 95% of people do in the world, right? That's what unsuccessful people do. What successful people do is the opposite, the exact opposite. They start, number one, the first place that you always start is the decision. And by the way, the decision comes from having a good sense of self-awareness of like what Mike and Brown talked about last week, which is like, hey, do you know what your priorities are? When you know your priorities, it's easy to say yes. And by saying yes, you're saying no to other things, right? It's easier to make better quality decisions when you have more awareness and more like awareness and context of what your actual priorities are, what's important to you. When you don't know that, all your decisions are harder to make. So you make a decision first, Then because you made a decision, say, hey, I made a decision that I will go to the gym regardless of how I feel when the alarm wakes up tomorrow morning at blank time. I'm going to go no matter how I feel. I made a decision, so I'm putting in the actions. And guys, what always happens when you already made the decision, so there is no option. You didn't give yourself an option. You're going to make the actions no matter what. No matter how you woke up that morning and how crappy of a mood you made, when you actually already commit to the decision, you just get up, no matter, even though you don't want to do it, you go to the gym, you do your workout. How do you usually feel afterwards?
Better.
Better, good, usually even better, more like on top of the world, because you silenced that little saboteur voice that was going on in your mind that like almost could have been taking an L for the day. And you took that L, flipped it upside down, and you said, yeah, I'm not listening to that little bitch voice, in my head, whatever that little voice is in my head that's telling me I can't do it. Nope, that's not happening. I'm making, I already made my decision. I'm going to the damn gym. And I'm giving you guys an example of a gym, right? But this whole analogy, this goes in everything, right? This is why, by the way, you see, half of marriages today end in divorce, is because most people don't make a decision and then take the actions to create the feelings. They lead with feelings, and when you lead with feelings, by the way, take the gym outside of the example, let's put in a relationship example. When you're in a relationship with a significant other or someone that you care about, or a marriage or whatever, and you lead with feelings, well, that's why they call it like the romance phase, because at the beginning of the relationship, everything's pretty damn easy when you're like in love, and it's like, oh my gosh, I love this person. They're so amazing. I can't wait to spend more time with them. I can't stop thinking about them, blah, blah. So I'm going to make time. I'm going to text them. I'm going to respond a lot. I'm going to make time for date night. I'm going to do all the things that a good relationship and partner should do, and I think I really want to be with this person. I like them. I'm going to spend more time with them because of it. Because I always feel going around them like, I might even want to date this person, or I might want to marry this person, right? And then 6 months comes down the road, 9 months, a year, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, right? And all of a sudden, those feelings aren't so hot anymore. Those feelings, whatever they originally were, maybe those feelings don't exist, or you're not actually feeling that, right? And this is why like a lot of people go through challenges, because if you're leading with your feelings, if that's what's like leading and guiding you, right, then you have negative feelings. So you're like, I don't really feel, she hasn't been blank for me, or I'm not really too always in the relationship. So, I'm going to come home late from work, or I'm not really going to respond as much. So your feelings and lack of feelings, determine the actions, and you stop showing up the way that you originally were showing up in that relationship. Right. And then all of a sudden, without you even really deciding, you know what, actually, maybe this isn't meant to be. Maybe this isn't going to work out. Maybe, it's better off if we weren't apart. And I'm just giving you guys an example, right? But what married couples do, right? Married couples, they make a decision, and it's like, hey, this is the decision that we're making. We have decided, regardless, because we know that there will be highs and lows. We know there will be ups. We know there will be downs. I know I'm going to wake up some mornings and want to go to the gym, and I know some mornings I'm going to wake up and want to not do that at all, because I know there will be highs and lows. Right? I'm making a decision now that, hey, I know that you're the person that I want to be with. So I'm committing to putting these actions in for the rest of my life, or whatever it is. And because this is the way that I want to feel. So what do successful people do differently, guys, is they make decisions and they decide how it is that they want to feel. So I think one of the biggest things, if you're taking away anything from this, is that one big thing that you'll learn a lot in TLA is emotional management. And I think people confuse emotional management a lot of times with with like not having emotions, or like stuffing your emotions down, or like trying not to feel certain ways. Like that's not good either, by the way. You're supposed to have emotions. It's natural. You're supposed to feel love, anger, fear, like all the emotions, the whole spectrum of being, that's what makes you human. It's just about being able to have and experience emotions and be a human, and still be able to operate and be successful and show up powerfully and impact other people, and allowing yourself to experience your emotions, but not be the experience of your emotions, meaning like your emotions don't experience you, meaning like some people, how they're feeling that day is how their day goes. Their emotions are their day. They are their emotions, versus being able to experience your emotions and not like oh, because I'm angry today, everything sucks. And because I'm motivated today, I kicked ass. And because I'm not, today just sucked. It's like being able to figure this out. And I think what the difference between what successful people do, guys, is they decide and choose how they want to feel. They make decisions because they know, hey, these decisions, these habits make me feel this way. And I want to feel this way more often than I want to feel this way. So these are the choices that I'm going to start making, and that's the difference between what successful people do. There's a quote by Matthias Alexander: people do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. So, and I really think that's the case. I really think that's true. I actually just, here's an example. We're going to talk about executive planning. I talked about it last week. But what I want you guys to do, and that was a small thing. I didn't teach you guys a ton last week, but I want you all to start building sustainable habits. This is a small concept: decision training, decision, actions, feelings. Not that hard to remember or understand. It shouldn't be like a huge epiphany. But hopefully you just start to okay, cool. The decisions that I'm making, I'm starting to become more aware and audit them and build sustainable long-term habits. One of those is planning. I posted on my literally story earlier today. Actually, I got more here. Check this out. Okay. This is what long-term habits look like. Not just for I did this for a summer or for a year or for a couple months when I was busy with school. This is 8 years of planners. Just so you guys know, you literally could ask me any date and time since my senior year of high school. I could tell you what I was doing at 3:00 on a Thursday, my senior year of high school. Literally all these planners every single day, 15-minute increments. I learned this in TLA. Was the first time I ever started doing it, and I built habits. And now it's just literally a part of my life. And now I have everything documented. I do it all through that too. So that's kind of the goal as we're going through this. The last thing I'll say on LOIs, or last thing I'll say on building sustainable habits and making decisions, is that, by the way, is what the purpose of a letter of intent is. So a letter of intent is that's exactly what it is. Look, sometimes some of you all message me and be like, hey, Andrew, I don't feel like I'm ready to branch yet, but I want to. Should I submit my letter? And I'm like, yes, so first off, you're not going to be, no one's ready for the branch yet. Even if you already branch, even in people that are assistant managers, y'all aren't ready to branch yet. That's why we have a training process and a training program and 9 months to get you ready. And by the way, even then, you're never going to be 100% ready. And all the branch managers that branched this past summer could tell you that. There will always be more learning curves, and that's part of the branch experience, right? But the reason that you submit an LOI is not because I'm trained and prepared and I feel like I could do a good job now. It's no. What you're doing is you're publicly making a statement and saying, hey, I am making the decision that I want to branch, that I would like to earn a territory, that I want to be considered at a high level, and that because I'm making this decision, I'm going to take the actions that are needed to train and to prepare so that if I have an opportunity, I am able to branch. If I'm given a territory, I'm looking to earn a spot, I want to put my name, make a statement out there. If you lead with the feelings, well, guess what? If you only work hard when you feel like you want to run an office, then, you probably won't be running an office next summer. Let's just say that. So I do want to recognize a couple different people, by the way, that have gotten some letters of intent in. And so we have some more being shared, but Rochelle, I recognized her last week for a district manager letter. And then, Mason Linker, 3-time branch manager. Let me see if he's on the call. Let me spotlight him real quickly. Right
here, Andrew.
Boom. Mason Linker, 3-time branch manager, going in for his 3rd time. So I actually don't know any other 3rd-time branches other than me. So it's got some last time I think someone ran a 3rd branch office, they broke the record. So I think that might be what he's trying to do here as well. And got some big moves to make this upcoming year. But congrats, Mason, on getting that submitted. And just a good example again of Mason's already making, he's putting his letter in now, so he's already making the decision, right? So that the next 9 months he is making the choices and decisions to train to prepare him to actually have a more impactful summer and year next year. So you guys can feel free to continue to submit those. We'll be honoring people at the first Saturday prep of anyone that has those in. And now we're going to go ahead and transition, guys, as we wrap up here today before we kick off to our phone jams, a little bit of a role play time and what we call some fish bowl scenarios. So This is a good opportunity. And every single week, they'll be a little bit different. Some weeks, by the way, we're just going to go 5 to 6. I'm just going to teach you guys some concepts. We won't have time to role play and practice. Other weeks, we'll have a little bit more role play time and practice time. And it'll be cool. What I love is that we're completely virtual. So you're not limited to practicing with just people in your own office. You can practice with people across the division and have some divisional juices flow here too. So this is the first topic. And by the way, sometimes we're going to give you guys topics and you're going to know right away what to do. Very, very easy. And other times you'll have no idea. And part of it is just like, hey, guess what? As a branch manager, you'll run your office sometimes. And like, sometimes you don't know what the hell to do. And you go to call your division manager or your district manager and they don't answer and they don't help. But you're the boss. So you have to make a choice and make a decision, do something. And that's why we want to put you through these scenarios, because that's part of what being a leader is. It's like, guess what? You don't always know the answers. I don't always know the answers sometimes, but I still have to make decisions as a leader. So I'm going to turn things a little bit over. Mike, can you lead us through this fishbowl scenario for today?
I would love to.
Let's do it.
Can I share my screen?
You...
Now, Tampa, if you F this up, you're fired. Back to 10%. All right. So we already got a head start on this, but so here's a scenario. All right, here's a scenario. Very simple scenario. Let's go ahead and paint this picture for you. I still have the United logo. Sorry about that, Andrew. So here's a scenario. We're going to talk about how to coach. All right, there's going to be different scenarios. I changed it up just a smidge, but we're going to be talking about how to coach. Now, there's going to be, when we do scenarios, there might be a scenario like the representative says this, how do you respond? There might be a scenario of how to promote an event that's coming up. There might be a scenario of, a sharp rep wants to recommend their friends at the job, and you want to have the conversation about how to get more than just 1 or 2 PRs from them. Like, there's going to be a bunch of different scenarios, but this scenario specific is really good. So we want to give you a chance in a breakout room to collaborate of what you think the best way to handle this scenario is, and role play. I want you to role play. So you can spend the first maybe 60 seconds, or so, and just ask, the partner and be like, hey, what do you think? All right, these are so you might want to take a picture. This is the scenario. The goal, the representative went into the week and said, I want to do 6 demos this week. I want to sell $1,500. The actual result, they set 5, completed 4, sold on 2, sold 750, and got 8 racks. So that's the scenario. The question is, how do you coach that rep? How do you coach that rep? What is the conversation with that rep? Where do you start? So there's a couple of questions that you're answering here. Where do I start? What's the starting place in this conversation? That's number 1. Number 2, what is the outcome of this conversation? That's number 2. So how do I start, and what is the outcome? And then number 3 is, how do I fill in, what's the methodical way to approach this conversation? Cool. So Andrew's going to put us in some breakout rooms. I would say
breakout rooms, 2 to 3.
What's that?
You want 2 to 3 or 3 to 4
per breakout room?
Yeah,
I would say 2 to 3. 2 to 3 is good. More conversation. So 2 to 3 per breakout room. And here's how it's going to work. We're going to give you, we'll give you 60 seconds to just collaborate, and then another maybe 2 minutes. So give them you'll have about 3 to 4 minutes to collaborate of what to say, and then a 60 to 90 second role play of you actually coaching the representative through this. So we'll give you what? We'll give you 5 minutes in total, and then we'll bring you back. We'll debrief. What did you come up with? And then I'll actually unveil how I would approach this, and we'll see how it compares.
Again, get in your groups, quick, 60 seconds to 2 minutes to discuss how you would approach this, then actually go into each person role playing it and practicing doing it once. Hey, I'm the manager, you're the representative. Have the conversation. Each person give it a round. We'll come back, and then we'll review a little bit, and maybe have a couple people share. So 3, 2, 1. I'll see you guys later. See you. Hey, Bryce, you there?
Welcome back. All right. So what did we get from this conversation? So let's see. Non-Tampa first. Non-Tampa first. Who you can raise your hand. What showed up for you? What did you like? How would you approach this? What's going on here?
First off, I think I'd approach it like say, okay, you didn't hit your goal for the week and notice that. Is there something going on? Like, how's your week been? Did something come up? Like, you have to like, for me personally, I like to know like what happened. I want to know. I don't want the excuses. I don't like bullshit. I like straight to the point. Like, I want to know what happened. I like that kind of stuff. So then from there we go, okay, well, like if they're hitting 750 and like 2 days left in the week, say, hey, you're at 750, bro. You're already on the fucking newsletter. Let's go. Let's get you to 1,000. Let's get you to 1,500. I hype people up. That's like my thing. I love doing that shit. But like, again, if they don't meet their goal, don't shit on them for it. Be their coach, be a human, be there for them, find out what's going on, and just encourage them to do better. That's really it.
So just to clarify, lead with curiosity of what happened, right. what caused these results. And then let me challenge you to raise it, and let me encourage you to encourage you to recover. Is that, correct me where I missed something?
No, you're right. No, you're right across the board.
All right, cool. All right, Nick, thanks for chiming in, man. Give me maybe one or two more. Well, one or two more, and then I'll open it up to Tampa, because I already taught this to you, and then I'll go ahead and I'll give you the secret sauce. Hope.
So I would say the biggest thing is to focus on the fact that over the 4 demos that they did complete, they only received 8 recs. So it seems like they might have an issue with rapport building. And I would maybe give them some resources to work towards bettering the rapport building. And then.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, you need to get better at, building rapport, buddy. People don't like you. They're not introducing you to people. So let me give you some of these tips on building rapport. I like it. Help them get the more recs. Good.
One more. Tyler, you want to give it a go? Sorry, I just muted you again. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So I think we kind of talked about this in our breakout room, but one of the big things was just asking them how they felt about their results and, where they think they went wrong, kind of what Nick was saying about the curiosity, figuring out what the real issue was. Also asking like where they're aiming for next week, if they're going for the same goal. And I would definitely like push them to either go for that same goal or go for a goal bigger. I don't think lowering the goal is the answer. But I do think that, heightening maybe the actions taken towards it. So maybe booking more demos, maybe go through like a schedule walkthrough with them, try to figure out where we can fit more demos in. And then maybe also just like, it seemed like a recommendation problem was definitely going on too. So trying to figure out what was going on with their rec, maybe do like a skill check, talk about the firm up as well, because they had a no-show. So just talk about some overall things. And then at the end, really just where we want to leave off is just leave them kind of, like where they know what to do next. Like I want to make sure that they're really confident in what they're doing next, and they know they don't have very many questions, get all the questions out of the way.
Cool. So how do you, how are you feeling with your results? Maybe give them a skills check. Maybe challenge them to take it a little higher. I might have missed some. It was a lot of words, but I just want to make sure I got what you said.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then
cool.
Also just going through that schedule walkthrough. I think that might
and schedule walkthrough. I felt like there was more. So it's good. Let me get one from Tampa, who maybe two, just to respect everyone's time, and then I'll give you the secret sauce.
Eric, he's got a confident hand raise.
Cool.
If I remember correctly, the first thing that you would ask is why they set that goal in the first place.
Yeah, why'd you set what goal in the first place?
The goal of that many demos that they wanted to complete.
Yeah, so why'd you set the goal of 6 demos? So that was the scenario. So why'd you set the goal of 6 demos and selling 1,500? Why'd you set that goal in the first place? Okay.
And then after that, you would ask them, did they not reach their goal because of resources or because of efforts? And then you would want to put them into action. That's what I have in my notes. So.
Okay. So did you not hit the goal because of so why did you set the goal in the first place? Okay. Now that I know why you set the goal, now why did you miss the goal? Okay, you missed the goal because of either resources or effort. Okay, let's recover. Fair enough. So following the questions that I posed, where do you begin the convo with why did you set the goal in the first place? And then what's the outcome of the convo? So what's the outcome of the convo is, put them into some sort of action. And then how to have the convo. Well, that's what you just said. You said, why'd you say it? Why'd you set it? What's your limitations? And let's get you into activity. Cool. Let me get one more, and then I'll give you some of the secret sauce here.
I have something really similar to Eric, but I have a couple more questions written down. So why did you set that goal in the first place? How do you feel about your results? You pointed that out because if they're totally happy with them, that's a whole nother conversation. And then show them what's possible. So map out if they hit their goal every week, like where would they be in a certain amount of weeks? So like hitting Dirty 30 in the fall or hitting bonus land or winning a scholarship. And then did you miss it because of lack of resources or effort? And then lead into a skills check depending on what they need.
And in this scenario, what would they need a skills check on?
Definitely Rex, and I would say their closing.
So
Rec
cool.
approach and their closing.
Cool. All right. Let's give you the sauce. Here it is. Sauce time. Nice work, Jess and Eric. Everyone else did good too, but
Sauce time.
All right. So here we go. So Andrew, you want to role play with me?
I'll role play with you, Mike.
Cool. So Andrew, I got your results here. I have it pulled up. So you wanted 6 demos, sold 1,500. You actually set 5, completed 4, sold on 2, 750 CPO, and 8 recommendations. So those are your results. Tell me, why did you set the goal of 6 demos and sell 1,500 in the first place? Like, what was the motive behind setting that as your goal?
I really wanted to start selling $1,500 a week so I could hit Dirty 30 by the end of the month.
Okay, so you hit Dirty 30 by the end of the month. What is there anything significant by hitting it by the end of the month, or anything that's important to you? Like why not 2 months or 3 months or 4 months? Like anything in reason why you want to hit by the end of the month?
I just wanted to make sure I was making 30% before the fall midterms and stuff like that start coming around, and also means I make some good money before that even starts, and because I probably want to slow down after September, so I'm trying to kind of keep my hitting this goal every week in the fall.
Yeah. And then you could enjoy the benefits of working part-time, making full-time income, because at $1,500 sales week at 30%, man, you're pulling in $400 to $500 a week barely working. So yeah, that is a great goal. That is a great goal. I love that. And you want to work your way towards that. So let me ask you this, with the results that you got compared to the goal that you set, how do you feel with those stats? How do you feel with the results that you did get?
I feel all right. I mean, I think I did, good job. I, probably tried my best, and I did, I got like halfway there. So, obviously I want to get like closer to the actual number. But I don't, yeah. Hey,
it's totally cool, man. And I'm, if you feel good about these results, that's all good, man. I'm totally cool. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm not here, I just want to support you. I want to give you the best direction possible. But I do want to make sure I'm hitting $1,500 on a weekly basis too. So I feel it. Let me just paint a picture for you real fast by you hitting 1,500 a week and completing your 6 appointments, just so you have a picture of what that looks like. Okay. So I'm going to pull up a whiteboard here. So if you did $1,500 a week and you do that for the next 10 weeks, let's say, okay, that means you're going to sell $15,000. Well, when you sell $15,000, Johnny Rapp or Andrew, you're brand new right now. All right. You're brand new. That means you earn $3,500. Divide that by the 10 weeks. That means you earn about $350 a week doing your 1,500. So if you're doing that in 6 appointments, you take $350 divided by 6 appointments. Do you know how much money you're making per appointment on that? I don't either. Let me see. So $350 divided by 6. That there, my friend, is $58 a demo. $58 per appointment. Is that pretty sweet? That is pretty sweet. So if you're making $58 an appointment, let's look over here to this other example right here. You did 4 appointments in 750. You made $75 on four completed appointments. 75 divided by 4. You made $18.75. So by you achieving the goal that you set, you will literally be paying yourself an extra $50 doing the same amount of work that you're doing right now. Is that kind of cool?
Yeah, it is kind of cool, Mike.
So let me ask you this, Andrew. What's holding you back? What do you think held you back from last week? Do you feel like, you set the goal of 6, but you only set 5? It's impossible to complete 6 demos if you only set 5. Right? Now, if you set up 9 appointments and only completed 5 or only completed 4, I would be okay with that because you gave the effort. But you didn't even get to the 6 demos that you said you wanted to do. And I'm not okay with that, Andrew. Because you said you wanted to do 6 demos and you only set 5. You can't complete 6 if you only set 5, buddy. What had you miss setting up enough appointments to complete the 6? Was it a lack of effort? A lack of resources? Something else that I'm missing there? What happened here? Where was the disconnect on here?
Yeah, I just didn't have a lot of people to call on the phone jam last night.
Lack of resources? Hey,
Yeah.
can we set up a time tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., where we hop on Zoom and we dig into that and help you get some more phone numbers? Is that cool?
Yeah, because I really need that.
Hey, that's what I'm here to coach you for. And we get that. I know for a fact, dude, if you get your appointments set, you'll complete more demos, which means you'll sell more and means your average order will go up. And hey, we'll work on the recommendations. The sample size is way too small for us to even worry about these other numbers. I don't care about this shit. I care about you focusing on what's in your control, which is how many demos are you setting and how many demos are you completing, and the other numbers will play themselves out. So tomorrow morning, we'll hop on the Zoom. We'll help you get your resources in order so you can hit the demo goal that you set for yourself, and all the other numbers will unfold. Deal?
Deal.
Cool. So here's your formula. Here's your special sauce. Why'd you set the goal? How do you feel with your results? What's possible when you hit your goal? Was it a lack of resources or a lack of effort? And then you could do a skills check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are your steps to having an effective coaching conversation to this scenario. I don't care about recs. I don't care about their sales. I don't care about the demos completed. I care about, did you set up enough demos to hit the goal that you originally set? No. Nothing else matters.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Team meeting time.
Ladies and gents, we're going to let you roll to your team meetings. Hey, here's one last thing before you guys go. Okay. I want to remind you guys now, in between every single TLA, we are going to have a series of assignments. They're not going to be too long. I'll give you your first assignments really this upcoming Saturday. The only assignments that you need to worry between now and then, okay, one that is a newer one that some of you guys most of you all have already done pretty much across the division. But if you're not in like Tampa staff or my staff and you've never taken the test before, I will post it into our group chat after this, but you need to take your CVI personality test, your core values index test before Saturday and have your results. That way, when Mike is teaching on Saturday, it's more relevant to you and you can have a little bit more insight on exactly what's going on. So if you haven't taken that test, you need to take it. If you've taken it and you forgot your results, take it again or go find your results so you have those easily on file. And the last thing is just making sure you have some sort of planner or organized planner or a Google Calendar or something that you're actively using going into this upcoming Saturday. And letters of intent. If you have one and you're ready to submit it, you can forward that to myself and Scott, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Everybody else, let's have a strong Wednesday phone jam. Have an awesome team meeting. We'll talk to you all soon. See you, ladies and gents.
Tampa, go Tampa.